Hello, all you lovely souls who revel in embracing life just as I do. This is Neerja Malik, and you are welcome into my world of I Embrace. And what do we intend to do here? We delve into the many layers and shades of my life, exploring resilience, positivity, strength, and the inherent fun and laughter that lies deep within each of us. Interludes from my own exciting and adventurous journey, my personal battles and victories that have brought forth innumerable lessons in my life. It is these learnings that I place on a golden platter with utmost humility for your personal consumption. Good morning to you, my favorite, phenomenally fantastic friends. It's such a pleasure every time to know that I have so many people, so many souls who want to share with me my life as I share it authentically, truthfully, and openly with all of you. Every day is a birthday, and it is phenomenal that though we feel that we can celebrate, and we do celebrate each day of our lives, birthdays kind of stand out. And now I'm wondering whether I should talk about what made me decide to come back quickly for my kid's birthday, or should I talk about my celebration, which got me into a lot of problems. Yeah, I think we'll tackle the problems first. Because I love to face problems. I get that, what is it called? The adrenal pumping and jumping in my veins. And so, yes, we'll start with the problems, if you don't mind, please. So, during my chemotherapy, I had a friend who came over from Chennai to be with me for my birthday, 11th of June. So, of course, it wasn't the day I started my podcast, but it was many moons before, definitely 25 years before. Yes, exactly 25 years before, I'm thinking. And what do you think I did? Very smartly, so I thought. That is the trouble. We always think that we give ourselves extra credit for something or the other. We feel very proud of it, and in retrospect, pride comes to a fall and we fall flat on our face. So this is a point to note, my dears, that every time you feel complacent, satisfied, and happy with yourselves, there's a little knock saying, hello, excuse me, have you seen the entire situation in all its different aspects? This is a learning point, please. And what do you think? I felt very proud of myself because we got up, my friend and I. Yes, we cut a cake at home before all that. I said bye to my family and we jumped into the car and went straight to the diagnostic center where I gave my blood for testing prior to my next chemotherapy. Then, having felt very happy with myself at having done it so beautifully, we went to the Gurdwara, We matha tekoed and definitely had prasad. And I felt very holier than thou. And I said, wow, what a wonderful way to begin a birthday. Somehow or the other, the Trinity always comes to mind. Things happen in threes, they say. Oh yes, I must tell you, I was expecting triplets, but the doctors were very happy that only 2 eggs got fertilized, because they said that had they been 3, you would have barely lasted 5 months into your pregnancy. With 2, I barely lasted 7 months into my pregnancy. So to come back, the Gurdwara done, the prasad consumed. On the way was a Hanuman temple, or as they call it in the south where I live, Anjanaya. We stopped at the Anjanaya temple and of course had some more prasad of a different kind with coconut and stuff like that. And then, not to be left alone, as we were passing Haji Ali, and I could see the pathway, and I could see that people were walking, and this josh overcame me that I must walk right through that pathway that is normally covered with the high tide. And now that it's there, this is a sign for me to say, come my child, mere paas aaja. And I went. So my friend and I walked right through that elongated, meandering pathway into the sea and into Haji Ali. The atmosphere was beautiful. We went around the dargah. We were appropriately blessed. There were a lot of beggars and different people walking up and down, sitting on the sides. I think I smiled at everyone. My heart expanded to embrace each and everyone who had walked that path, to come into a prayerful place. For me, it makes no differentiation as to whether I'm in a Gurdwara, a temple, a dargah, a church, any pious place of worship. Because I think the countless heartfelt prayers in each of these spaces, whether small or big, whether in an ashram like the Ramakrishna Mission or the Sharda Math or Anandmayi Mass, any place, the vibrations of prayer, of worship, of gratitude to the one above, of a feeling of total surrender at the feet of the Lord, the Goddess, Vaishnu Devi, anywhere, the vibrations are the same from the souls to the one Creator. And we all belong to each other. We belong to Him as He does to us. So after these very fulfilling and happy thoughts, we carried on towards the suburbs for a lunch date. And all was good and well. Extraordinarily delicious food and company. And then one of the members of the family came out, coughing, nose leaking, dripping, sniveling, and gave me a kiss on my cheek. And I could feel the heat of the fever emanating from that body towards me. For a split second, my heart sank, but I enjoyed myself so much, thanking everyone. Got into the car and went homeward bound. By the time I reached home, traffic was immense. Bombay roads are blocked, bumper to bumper. We were traveling. By the time I reached home, I had a raging temperature. And when I went up, My parents were standing at the door, literally holding the result of my visit to the diagnostic center. I was rushed in and doctors were called and cold compressed and all that started. Why am I telling you this? I am telling you this that even when the mind and the emotions are strong, courageous, resilient, ready for any onslaught, do give the body a chance. Because in that state, if I had read my report before attempting to step out for my birthday celebrations, I would have not only not stepped out, I would have not even stepped out of my room into the rest of the house. So why is this important? This is important because when you go for that test while your chemotherapy is going on, it gives you your CBC, complete blood count. And that shows you how strong your immunity is. Now remember that only if your CBC is good will they give you a second dose or another dose, an ongoing dose of chemotherapy. If your cells are low, there are two things. They might delay the chemotherapy, and they make it very clear that when that is the case, you are vulnerable. Your body is open to any kind of infection. That is the lowest period of your 21-day cycle. And if, God forbid, your CBC is not up to the point and you are vulnerable to any infection, whether it be internal, like a stomach one, when you've eaten something that is not properly cleaned, or when the viruses have attacked you from the outside and you've got a fever or a cold, you hit rock bottom. Yes, it's that serious. Because the body as it is weak. And when it has to contend with all these infections, the fatigue adds on. And sometimes it's not as if people who have been diagnosed with cancer die of cancer. It could be due to having caught pneumonia or various other things that overtake the body and override everything else. So this is the point I'm making, that please, you are open to infection, you are vulnerable. Remember that and be safe. This is an important fact. And I'm glad I got this experience. And you would say, what? She's happy about this experience? Yes. Because with experience comes knowledge. With knowledge, an idea of how to prevent that thing from happening. And when you come to those realizations and those reflections, you can share it further, as this is one of the first few things I tell my patients. Please beware. Please be safe. Please be protected. And there is no harm in cordoning out people, infections, anything, when you need to take care of yourself, because self-love comes above everything else. So that's what happened to me. They had to delay my chemotherapy for a week, 10 days. It was very difficult to control that fever in a body that had already been fatigued with the effects of chemotherapy, and now with the onslaught of this infection. Finally, the doctors said, "We are going to give you steroids. They will handle your temperature, but we must go on with the chemotherapy." So please, dears, remember this as a very important fact of life and take care. Because my experience has helped millions in not being foolhardy, but being aware of the consequences of a wrong action. So that's what happened, a learning never lost, a learning to be passed on, to be shared, so that people can benefit by your mistakes. Talking about birthdays, I must connect this to another birthday, and that of my twins. I don't think that anyone has managed to finish their cancer treatment in as short a time as I did. Yes, once again, foolhardiness. Once again, a mistake that I don't regret. Once again, another learning. So what happens is, you're diagnosed, let's say with breast cancer, which is what I was, and your surgery is done. The lump is removed. 21 days later, so that your wound has healed, you start with your chemotherapies, which may be anything between 6 or 8 sessions, depending on the doctor's plan of action. So after 21 days of having undergone the surgery, the wound has to heal before the body can be exposed to the strong chemotherapy, the strong chemical treatment. So it is decided by the doctors, depending on the situation, the stage, the grade, the body, how much it can take, what the body weight is. In ratio to that, the chemotherapy is decided. And they may decide on 6 to 8 chemotherapy sessions. Each session comes after 21 days. So that means that there would be 3 into 6 or 3 weeks into 8 would be the period of time that you would finish your chemotherapy. Then, after 21 days, they start radiation. Now, radiation is maybe another 20 to 30, depending again on your stage, grade, etc., the location of the bed of the tumor, and finally, it's all over, and you are left with a lot of fatigue towards the end, which again, in 21 days, you kinda are fine. Now, I was diagnosed on Friday, the 13th of February. So after my surgery and the first 3 chemotherapies, I suddenly realized that my twin's birthday is on the 5th of July. And I did some vague calculations in my mind. And I told the doctors very casually or matter-of-factly that I would like to start my radiation along with the leftover 3 chemotherapies so that I can get back to Chennai in time for my kid's birthday. That's a lot of chopping of time. And the doctors were pretty firm in telling me that that should not be done. Because of my family history, the medication was very, very strong. I was a high-risk persona who'd been diagnosed. And they said, no way. You have to finish your 6 chemotherapies and then we will start on your radiation. And I said, no way, my way. And I was very insistent. I was stubborn. I was obstinate. I put my foot down and I said, this is what I want. After my surgery and first 3 chemotherapies, which I finished, my radiation and the last 3 chemotherapies are going to go simultaneously, hand in hand. They told me, they warned me, you're making a mistake. And I said, insisted that this is how it's going to be. You know something? I got back to Chennai on the 3rd of July in time for my kid's birthday. Of course, I didn't have the energy. I just sat there, but my friends were there. My mother-in-law, who had been looking after the twins for that period of time while I was in Bombay, she and my friends set up this wonderful birthday party for my twins while I just sat there basking in the glory of being present for their birthday. And once again, I'm glad it happened. I'm glad because it gave me the idea to tell people that please don't repeat the mistakes that I made. Take your time. Go easy. Be cool. Enjoy each chemo separately. Enjoy the radiation separately. Because the bottom line is it's for your good. And please consider what the doctors say, because I always thought and still believe that Doc is God and God is Doc. Just as I surrender completely to the one divine one above, in terms of everything else, I surrendered completely to my doctors for their treatment, except this one point. But I don't regret it because I learned a lesson and I'm sharing it on. Yes, lessons learned and passed on, but nothing like reaching home without hair, nothing like being welcomed at the door by your 2 lovely children. It was well worth all the trauma and the trouble I went through just to hug them, hold them, to bend down. Normally, I would have lifted both of them because from the time they were little, I always carried both together, one in each arm. No way could I have done this. But when I hugged them heart to heart, it was a tight hug huddled between the 3 of us, and all my troubles, all my trauma, all my sadness, my pain, my suffering just disappeared in that 1 second to last a lifetime. Because when you are down and out and you suddenly remember a scene that fills you with utmost joy and happiness, and all those feelings come back and fill your entire being to every cell, nerve, while you literally vibrate with happiness, that is what happened. And here's another learning. What is meditation after all? Why are we told to think of a scene that gives us bliss? Think of the waters, think of the swimming, think of the sand, think of the feet, think of and literally hear the music. That is a meditation, isn't it? And this too, this remembering of joyous, happy scenes that come and bring those same feelings into your entire being so that you are one with the joy of that moment and the perpetual joy and bliss of life and existence. And all I can say here is God is great. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, God. Shukrana. I embrace isn't just about my journey of conquering cancer. It's about embracing life in all its entanglement and beauty. Remember, in this journey of life, you are never alone. And I need to thank you for becoming a part of this inspiring journey. Thank you for joining me today on I Embrace and my heartfelt wishes. Stay resilient, stay positive, and most importantly, keep embracing life in all its glory.